Okay. Let's review the two things that we really need when creating linear functions. What are those two things that you need?
X and Y values.
We do, but when we're creating the actual equation, what do we need? Our end result, what are the only two values we need?
M and B.
Which are what?
Slope, intercept.
Okay, you need your slope, which is M in our equation. And you need your y-intercept, which is B in our equation. Right, when you create your final equation, those are the only two values that get numbers substituted in for. The only two variables that get values substituted in for. So what if I gave you, we looked at when I gave you the slope, and you had to find the y-intercept. But what if I just gave you 2 points?
Like 2 points on the coordinate.
How are you going to find the y-intercept there?
Okay. What if I just gave you 2 points? So let's say I gave you the point -1, -1, and 2, 3, and wanted you to create an equation that passes through the two of these lines. You still need to find your slope, and you still need to find your y-intercept. Tell me what you know about slope. Tell me what you know about slope. I love what Evan is doing looking back in his notes.
Got to find the slope, doesn't it?
Tell me what you know about slope.
But the slope is always the number behind x.
Okay, so it's always the coefficient of x. So it's not the number behind it, the number in front of it. What else do you know about slope? Okay, so you can have positive, negative, you can have positive slope, negative slope, zero slope, or undefined. Okay. It's the change of y over the change of x. Okay, this, you need to know this. That's why we spent a week with similar triangles, figuring out slope, talking about change of y and change of x. So that's why we spend so much time on it, because it's important for you to know. So the first thing you're going to need to do is find your slope. Well, when you're finding the change of something, what mathematical operation do you think you're going to do? Add, subtract, multiply, or divide?
Multiply.
Okay, if you're finding the change between two values, or another word for that could be difference.
Oh, divide.
No, that would be subtract.
Subtract. You're going to subtract. So let's look at this first. First thing that we want to do is find our slope. So if we find the change of y values over the change of x values, what are my two y values? And? 3. So I want to find the change or the difference between those two. So I'm going to do -1 minus 3. Now I need to find the change in their matching x values, which are what? -1 and 2. -1 minus 2. Notice how I kept matching coordinates with each other, right? I didn't do 2 minus -1, because that would give me a different answer. Now, can I solve this?
Yep.
Yeah. What is -1 minus 3?
-4.
Negative 4. And what is negative 1 minus 2?
-3.
Negative 3. Can I simplify that?
No.
2 negatives make a
Positive.
positive.
Wait, why would it be 7? Once you add 4 and 3,
No! I'm not going to add those.
Does it always stay a fraction?
Unless it simplifies to an integer.
Okay.
Nope, because my change of y, that means my change of y values is 4, and my change of x values is 3. What do I have now?
Or
I have my slope. So now, isn't it just like when we did that before? We plugged in our slope value, and then we put in values for x and y?
Yeah.
Didn't we already do that? Yes. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think it matters which ordered pair I use?
yeah.
If they're both on the line, do you think it matters which one I choose? No.
We still get the same
I'm gonna, yep, you're still gonna get the same answer either way. I always like to find the ordered pair that is the simplest, so things that maybe have 1s or 0s in it, because it just makes my life so much easier. So I'm gonna use -1, -1. If I'm using the point -1, -1, what's my y value? -1. What's my m value? 4/3. What's my x value? -1. And do I know my b value yet? No. So now I'm going to take and substitute each number in for its matching variable. So y is going to get substituted -1.
Equals 4/3.
M is going to get substituted in for 4/3. X will be substituted in for -1. So multiply that by -1. And I don't know what b is yet, so it will stay a variable. Can I solve this now?
Yeah.
Yep. 4/3 times -1 is -4/3.
Would you add
Yep, now I'm going to add 4/3 to each side. Right, because I want b by itself.
that cancels
So
out?
that's going to create a 0. And 4/3, isn't that the same thing as 1 1/3?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's think. You have -1 plus 1 1/3. What are you going to have left over? You have, no, you have
1/3.
1/3.
Ah.
Okay, because you've got to think, this is the same as saying -1 plus 1 1/3.
The one.
So your 1s are going to cancel out and all you're left with is 1/3. Okay? So do I now have my slope?
Yes.
Yes.
Do I now have my y-intercept?
Yeah.
Can I now create my linear function?
Yes.
Julia, what is that linear function going to be if my slope is 4/3 and my y-intercept is 1/3? Okay, I'm only going to substitute values in for slope and y-intercept. Beautiful.
Oh, I remember doing this on Excel.
5/3 x or 5/3 x.
No,
Is that-
no, that's not
We're
5/3.
trying to solve y.
I don't know what y is. Well, I know what y could be, but we're not trying to solve for y. We're just creating the equation. Okay? So, let me ask you, did I do anything brand new?
No.
No. Haven't we already found slope between 2 points?
Yeah.
Yeah. And haven't we already solved for the y-intercept before? And so now I'm just doing what? What am I doing with it now? Adding it all together, right? I'm putting it all together. I'm showing how they can relate. Let's do another one. And then I'll give you your assignment. All right, but I'm going to have you guys kind of lead me through this. I've got the points 1, 4, and the point 3, negative 2. I want to create a linear function. I want to create an equation of a line that passes through these 2 points. What do I do first?
You can find your change of y or change of x.
Love it.
So your change of y would be
1/3.
Okay. So what are my 2 y values that I'm finding the change of? 4 and negative 2. Devin, x comma y. Ordered pairs are always written x comma y. And what are my x values?
1 negative 1 and 3.
1 and 3. Cool. So I have 4 minus negative 2. Yes, it is important that it's 4 minus negative 2. You're finding the difference between those 2 values. So if you just do 4 minus 2, you're not finding the difference between these 2 specific values.
Oh, since you're always trying to find the difference.
Between those 2 values. So, and then my change of x values is 1 minus 3. So these 2 change to make a what? Positive, right? So I have 4 plus 2 equals 1 minus 3, right? Because those 2 change to make a positive. If you just wrote 4 minus 2, are you going to get a different answer? Yes, and your answer would be incorrect. Because you want to find the difference between 4 and negative 2, not 4 and 2. Okay? All right, what's 4 plus 2? 6. And what's 1 minus 3? Negative 2. Can I simplify this to get an integer?
Yes.
Yes.
3 over 1.
Negative 3.
Negative 3.
Oh.
Negative, or 6 divided by negative 2
Oh.
is a negative 3. So you had the 3 right, but the negatives. Because 1 minus 3 is negative 2.
Positive and a negative.
Okay. So do I now have my slope?
Yes.
Yay! Slope of negative 3. What else do I now need?
Your b.
Your b value. How am I going to do that?
You're gonna
You're gonna
substitute
put in equation.
integers in for it, and then give it.
Which ordered pair do you want to use? So we'll use the first one. Rihanna said we'll use the first one. Is it okay to use the second one if you want? Yeah, but this one's got a 1 in it. Makes my life happy. So if I'm using this slope and this point, what's my y value?
Y value.
4, right? 4.
M
M
is negative.
is negative 3 and x is
1.
1. And I don't know b yet. So I'm going to substitute in values. Y I'm going to substitute in 4. M I'm going to substitute negative 3. X I'm going to substitute 1 and then plus my b. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. Add 3 to both sides. Now, Jacob, what's 4 plus 3?
7.
7. I know how much you wanted to say 7 earlier. So do I now have my slope and my y-intercept?
Yeah.
Sweet. So Cameron, help me out with my equation. Remember, I'm only substituting in values for slope and y-intercept. What would my equation be? Cameron. What's my slope? What's my slope?
I thought the slope was 4.
Awesome.
I get
So again, did I do anything new with you?
No.
No, sure did.